This video is the second part of a multi-video series on the modeling of ice accretion on an airfoil using FENSAP-ICE. The geometry used will be an ECA 0012 airfoil. The parameters can be seen on the left, and the steps followed will be first to model the flow field, then the droplets cloud, and then the surface thermal and mass balances to get that final ice shape. Part 2 will focus on the droplet simulation using Drop3D. Now that we have an air solution, what we can do is we come back here, we can add a new run and do some droplet flow simulations. Okay. And now, so you can see on the left, you have input files, grid, and air solution. Instead of manually setting all that, what we can do is we can click on that config from the flow, drag it upon the gear icon for the droplet, and what it's going to do is going to copy all the parameters that are found in both setups. So if you can now see that the grid is active, it found it, it copied a link to the solution. That's the file with gear icon on it, and we can go and look at the setup parameters for the droplets. So again, it's the same kind of view. So we have the model on the left, the parameters on the right. Let's start with the input files, the grid, the air solution, and then we have the physical models. It's droplets. In that case, it's going to be droplets. It could also be crystals, but let's keep it droplets now. And it's made of water. If we look at the conditions, they were correctly imported or copied, but we have to define droplets reference conditions with the liquid water content, which the amount of water that's found at the far field boundary for a given volume of 1 cubic meter. In that case, we'll stay with like 1 gram per cubic meter and small droplets of 20 microns. Know that you can set up a droplet distribution, in which case I will suggest the Langmuir D, which is often the one that's recommended. But for that demo, let's keep it simple and only one single droplet size. The velocity components were correctly initialized in that case. Now let's look at the boundaries. Mostly we have to look at the inlet. We didn't change the default LWC, but if so, we could have imported only that one by copying from the reference one, or we could again import reference conditions like that, clicking here again, and that will bring all the reference conditions there. For the walls, there's nothing specific to do. There's no heat transfer, no energy equation in the Eulerian droplet equations. So we have nothing to do, and obviously nothing to do for the symmetry. For the solver parameters in the solver tab, we can play a bit with the CFL number if we want, number of time steps, but that's pretty much it. And for the also for the output tab, there's not many parameters to look at. Although we can, if you want to look at the airflow variables at the same time as you look at droplet ones at the end, you can click that option to copy them. So let's run that again with 12 CPUs. So again, you see it's the same view. So let's start it. So here we're looking at the residuals, but what's really nice to look at is the total beta and actually the change in total beta. And beta is the symbol used for the total collection efficiency on the surface, which is the ratio of the water that hitting the surface with respect to the water that was available at the far field condition. So it's really an indication of how much water hits the surface. The computation is now done, so let's look at the results by clicking View. Again, it's opening View Miracle. And what we see here first is the droplet LWC, so liquid water content. And what you can see is that behind the airfoil, there's no droplets, meaning that all the droplets coming here either hit the surface or were deflected from by following the airflow like that. And so that location is protected from having any water. Similarly to the flow results, we can have a look at surface solution, especially that collection efficiency. So we'll do that, enable the 2D plot here, cutting Z, and we always look at that collection efficiency parameter using the distance view, so meaning the curvilinear distance going clockwise around the airfoil starting from the trailing edge. So that's the kind of graph that we obtain for that. This is the end of part 2 of that multi-video series. In the next video, part 3, we'll look at the ice simulation using ICE 3D.